Lily bounced on the balls of her feet, her new curtains a swirl of color in their packaging. Finally, her room would feel complete. Mom had ordered them online, a surprise after Lily aced her spelling test. But Mom was still at work, and the thought of waiting filled Lily with impatience. Mr. Peterson, her neighbor, was always puttering around in his yard. He was old, with kind eyes and a smile that crinkled his face. He was always willing to lend a hand. Maybe? Lily skipped next door. Mr. Peterson was watering his roses. "Mr. Peterson," she called. "I got new curtains, but Mom's not home to hang them. Could you, maybe, help?" His face lit up. "Curtains, you say? Why, I'd be glad to, Lily. I've got a ladder and all sorts of tools. Be right over." Lily beamed. This was going to be great. She pictured her room transformed, bathed in the soft light filtering through the pretty fabric. She couldn't wait to show Mom. Mr. Peterson bustled into Lily's living room, a toolbox clanging merrily in his hand. He was a whirlwind of helpfulness, immediately assessing the situation. "All right, Lily," he said, his voice a little raspy. "Let's see about these curtains. Where do you want them?" Lily pointed to the window. Sunlight streamed in, making dust motes dance in the air. "Right there. They're going to look so pretty." Mr. Peterson nodded, his eyes twinkling. He set down the toolbox and unfolded the ladder with a practiced hand. It creaked a little as he climbed the first few steps. He was a bit slower than Lily remembered, his movements careful and deliberate. He adjusted his glasses, peering at the curtain rod. He muttered to himself, "Looks like we might need a different screw for this." He rummaged in his toolbox, pulling out an assortment of shiny metal bits. He was so focused, his brow furrowed in concentration. Lily watched him, a little bubble of excitement building in her chest. This was really happening. Her room was about to get a whole new look. Mr. Peterson lived alone since his wife passed away a few years ago. Lily knew he missed having someone to help. He always seemed a little lonely, tending his roses and waving to everyone who passed by. Helping Lily with the curtains was probably a highlight of his week. He really seemed to enjoy fixing things. He'd helped Lily's mom fix a leaky faucet once, and he'd been so proud of himself. Lily remembered him beaming, explaining exactly what he'd done. He was a kind man, always ready with a story or a helpful suggestion. Now, balanced precariously on the ladder, he was completely absorbed in the task. Lily watched him, noticing the way his brow furrowed in concentration, the way his hands moved with surprising dexterity despite his age. He really wanted to do a good job. Lily felt a surge of gratitude. He was being so nice to her. She just wished her mom was here too. It felt a little strange being alone with him in the house. The ladder wobbled slightly as Mr. Peterson shifted his weight. Lily stood back, a little nervous. The living room felt smaller with the ladder and toolbox taking up space. The air was thick with the smell of old metal and something vaguely like mothballs, probably from Mr. Peterson's toolbox. He hummed a little tune under his breath, a cheerful melody Lily didn't recognize. He seemed completely at ease, but Lily felt a growing unease. She wasn't sure why. Maybe it was just the quiet of the house, broken only by Mr. Peterson's humming and the occasional clink of metal. She shuffled her feet, wishing she had her phone. She could text her best friend, Sarah. Or maybe she should offer Mr. Peterson a glass of water. That would be polite. But then she'd have to go to the kitchen, and she didn't want to leave him alone in the living room. She just felt awkward. This whole thing was a little weird. She should have waited for her mom. Mr. Peterson reached up, stretching to adjust the curtain rod. His shirt pulled tight, and Lily found herself staring. She didn't know why, but she couldn't look away. A strange feeling fluttered in her stomach, a mix of nervousness and something else she couldn't quite name. She tugged at the hem of her t-shirt, suddenly feeling too warm. She took a small step closer, almost without realizing it. He was so focused, so intent on the task at hand. It was like she was invisible. She bit her lip, her heart beating faster. This was silly. She was being silly. But she couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. She took another small step, her fingers tingling. She just wanted to get this over with, for her mom to come home and make everything feel normal again. She wished she hadn't asked Mr. Peterson for help. It was all just weird. So weird. He turned. It happened so fast, Lily barely had time to think. Her hand shot out, her fingers brushing against his chest. It was a light, fleeting touch, barely there. But it was enough. A jolt of panic surged through her. What had she done? Why had she done that? Her face flushed hot with shame and fear. This was a terrible, terrible idea. His eyes widened in surprise. He looked confused, a little startled. Lily's heart hammered against her ribs. She wanted to disappear, to rewind time and erase the last few minutes. She forced a smile, a shaky, unnatural grimace. Oh no, oh no, oh no. This was so wrong. She had made a huge mistake. She didn't know what to do. She just wanted her mom. Now. This instant. Everything felt like it was spinning. She needed to fix this somehow. But how? Asterisk, don't panic, Lily. Don't panic. Asterisk, her brain screamed. Think, she couldn't freak out. She couldn't cry. She had to stay calm. Making a scene would only make things worse. She needed to get out of this situation, but she couldn't make Mr. Peterson angry or anything. She just had to act normal. Asterisk, act normal. Act normal. Act normal. Asterisk, it was like a mantra repeating in her head. She had to pretend it didn't happen. She had to pretend she didn't do anything wrong. The most important thing was to not make him suspicious. If she ran away or started yelling, who knew what he might do? She had to be smart. She had to be careful. She had to get her mom. But how? She needed a plan, and she needed it now. Think, Lily, think. This was all her fault. She had to fix it. And she had to do it without making things even worse. Taking a deep breath, Lily forced her face into what she hoped was a normal expression. So, she said, her voice a little shaky, do you think those screws are the right size? Mom was really specific about the curtains hanging straight. She pointed to the curtain rod, trying to sound casual, like she hadn't just done something incredibly stupid. She said something about needing special screws if the rod wasn't, level. She rambled on, hoping her words sounded convincing. She watched Mr. Peterson carefully, trying to gauge his reaction. Was he suspicious? Did he know she was lying? She couldn't tell. He just looked confused. But maybe that was a good thing. Maybe he didn't realize what she had done. Maybe she could actually pull this off. She just had to keep talking. Keep distracting him. Keep acting like everything was perfectly normal. Even though it definitely wasn't. Mr. Peterson blinked, his face reddening slightly. He seemed flustered, like he wasn't sure how to respond. He cleared his throat. Well, now, he said, his voice a little higher than usual, I think these screws should do the trick. But it's always good to double-check, right? He turned back to the curtain rod, his movements a little jerky. He seemed eager to focus on the task at hand, to avoid making eye contact. Lily felt a sliver of relief. Maybe he was just as uncomfortable as she was. Maybe he wanted to forget it ever happened. He fiddled with the screws, tightening them with unnecessary force. He seemed almost relieved to have something to concentrate on. Lily watched him, her mind racing. This was her chance. She had to figure out a way to get her mom here now. She couldn't stay in this house alone with him, not for another minute. She needed a plan, and she needed it fast. Lily watched Mr. Peterson more closely now. He was still avoiding eye contact, his movements stiff and unnatural. He kept glancing at her, then quickly looking away. It was like he was trying to pretend she wasn't there, but he couldn't quite manage it. She noticed his hands were shaking slightly. And he kept clearing his throat. He was definitely acting weird. Before, she had thought he was just a little lonely and eager to help. Now, she wasn't so sure. Something was definitely off. This wasn't just awkward anymore. This was scary. She needed her mom. She needed her mom here right now. She couldn't handle this on her own. She had to get her mom involved, but she had to do it without making Mr. Peterson suspicious. This was going to be tricky. But she had to try. She had no other choice. Oh, Lily exclaimed, clapping a hand to her forehead. I almost forgot. Mom wanted me to double-check the curtain color before we hung them. She was worried they might be too blue. I should probably give her a quick call, just to be sure. She forced a bright smile, hoping it looked convincing. I'll be right back. She hurried out of the living room, grabbing her phone from the kitchen counter. She could feel Mr. Peterson's eyes on her back as she walked away. She had to make this believable. She had to make him think everything was perfectly normal. She rushed into her bedroom, closing the door behind her and leaning against it, her heart pounding in her chest. Okay, time to call Mom. And time to be very, very careful. Lily dialed her mom's number, her hand trembling. Hi, Mom, she said, trying to keep her voice light and casual. It's me. About the curtains. Are you absolutely sure about the shade of blue? It seems a little intense. Like, maybe too much for the room. She paused, listening to her mom's response. Yeah, I know you said you liked it, but it's giving me a weird vibe. Almost like the blueberries we bought last week. Remember how some of them were a little off? She took another breath. And the helper you sent? He's being super helpful, but he's also being a little extra helpful, you know? Like, offering to help me with my homework and stuff. Which is nice, but also kind of a lot. She hoped her mom understood what she was trying to say. She couldn't be more direct, not with Mr. Peterson possibly listening. This was her only chance. Okay, honey, her mom said, her voice suddenly serious. I understand. I'm leaving work right now. I'll be there in 15 minutes, tops. Just keep him busy. Don't let him out of your sight, but don't do anything to make him suspicious. Can you do that for me? Yes, Mom, Lily whispered, relief flooding through her. 15 minutes. She could handle 15 minutes. I can do that. Good girl, her mom said. I'll see you soon. And Lily? I'm proud of you for calling. Lily hung up the phone, her legs feeling a little wobbly. 15 minutes. She could do this. She took a deep breath, trying to calm her racing heart. Okay, time to go back out there and act like everything was perfectly normal. Even though it was far, far from it. 15 minutes. She just had to survive 15 minutes. Lily plastered a smile on her face and walked back into the living room. Mr. Peterson, she said, her voice a little too cheerful, you've been working so hard. Why don't we take a little break? I have some cookies and juice in the kitchen. We could have a little snack. She watched him carefully, trying to gauge his reaction. He seemed surprised, but also relieved. Maybe he was just tired. Maybe he was just as eager for this whole thing to be over as she was. Oh, I don't want to be any trouble, Lily, he said, but he didn't sound entirely convincing. No trouble at all. Lily insisted, a little too enthusiastically. It'll just take a minute. And it's my favorite kind of juice, apple. And Mom made chocolate chip cookies this morning. They're still warm. She practically dragged him toward the kitchen, determined to keep him occupied and, more importantly, away from the curtain rod. 15 minutes. She could do this. Cookies and juice. It was all she had. Settled at the kitchen table, a safe distance away from Mr. Peterson, Lily offered him a cookie. So, she said, forcing a cheerful tone, Mom says you have a really amazing rose garden. What's your secret? She watched him carefully, making sure to maintain eye contact, but not in a challenging way. She just wanted to keep him talking, to fill the silence that felt so thick and heavy. He perked up at the mention of his roses. Well, it's all about the soil, he said, launching into a detailed explanation of pH levels and fertilizer. Lily nodded politely, pretending to understand. She asked him about his other hobbies, about his favorite books, about anything to keep him distracted and engaged. Every few minutes, she glanced out the window, her heart pounding with anticipation. Where was her mom? 15 minutes felt like an eternity. She just had to keep him talking. Keep him distracted. Keep him safe. And keep herself safe too. Just a little longer. Suddenly, a pair of headlights swept across the kitchen window. Lily's head snapped up, her heart leaping with joy. A car door slammed shut. Mom's home, she exclaimed, jumping up from the table, her voice filled with genuine excitement this time. She could barely contain her relief. She's finally here. She raced to the front door, throwing it open just as her mom reached the porch. "Mom," she cried, throwing her arms around her, squeezing her tight. "You're here. You're really here." She felt her mom hug her back, a little confused, but also relieved. Lily clung to her, burying her face in her mom's shoulder, finally feeling safe. The ordeal was almost over. Almost. She just had to get through the next few minutes. And then, finally, everything would be okay. Lily's mom stepped inside, her eyes immediately scanning the room. She took in the scene, Mr. Peterson standing awkwardly by the kitchen table, the ladder still set up in the living room, Lily clinging to her like a baby monkey. She didn't say anything, but Lily could see the understanding dawn in her eyes. "Mr. Peterson," she said, her voice warm and friendly. "Thank you so much for helping Lily with the curtains. That was so kind of you." She walked over to him, extending her hand. "I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this." She shook his hand firmly, her gaze steady and direct. "Lily tells me you've been working so hard. I'm sure you're ready for a rest." Lily could feel her mom's presence, a shield of protection against the lingering unease. Everything was going to be okay. Now that Mom was here, everything would be all right. "Why don't we just get those curtains up, and then you can relax, Mr. Peterson?" Lily's mom suggested, her voice gentle but firm. She picked up the package of curtains. "Lily, could you hand me the hooks, please?" She efficiently took over, guiding Mr. Peterson with subtle suggestions and directions. "Maybe if you held the rod steady while I slipped the hooks in, that would be a big help." She made sure to stand close to Mr. Peterson, creating a sense of casual teamwork while also subtly positioning herself between him and Lily. She worked quickly and methodically, her movements precise and confident. In a matter of minutes, the curtains were hanging, transforming the room with their soft, blue light. "There," she said, stepping back to admire their work. "Perfect. Thank you so much for your help, Mr. Peterson. We really couldn't have done it without you." Mr. Peterson gathered his tools, his movements a little stiff. He seemed eager to leave, a bit flustered by the sudden change of pace and Lily's mom's efficient takeover. He avoided eye contact, his face still flushed. "Well," he said, clearing his throat, "I guess I should be getting back to my roses. They need watering, you know." He shuffled towards the door, his toolbox clanging softly. "It was nice to help out, Lily. You enjoy those new curtains." He paused at the doorway, offering a weak smile. "You girls have a good day." And then he was gone, disappearing back into his own house, leaving behind a lingering sense of relief and a faint smell of mothballs. Lily watched him go, finally able to breathe freely. It was over. He was gone. Once the door clicked shut behind Mr. Peterson, Lily's mom turned to her, her expression serious. "Okay, sweetie," she said, kneeling down to Lily's level. "Tell me everything. What happened while I was gone?" She took Lily's hands in hers, her touch warm and reassuring. "I could tell something was wrong from your phone call. Just tell me the truth, Lily. I'm here for you no matter what." Lily took a deep breath, the relief of her mom's presence washing over her. Now that it was over, the tears started to well up in her eyes. It was time to tell her mom everything. Every awkward moment, every strange feeling, every impulsive decision. It all came tumbling out in a rush of words and tears. "It was just weird, Mom," Lily sobbed, her voice thick with tears. "He was being so nice, and I felt bad that he was all alone, and then I don't know why, but I touched him." She squeezed her eyes shut, her face contorting with shame. "I didn't mean to. It just happened. And then he turned around, and I was so scared." She explained how she had tugged at her shirt, how she had stepped closer, how she had impulsively reached out and touched his chest. She told her mom about the strange feelings she had experienced, the mix of nervousness and curiosity that had overwhelmed her. "I'm so sorry, Mom," she cried. "I didn't know what to do. I was so afraid. I thought he was going to be mad, or something. I just wanted you to come home." She clung to her mom, her body shaking with sobs. "I'm so sorry." Lily's mom held her close, stroking her hair. "Oh, honey," she said softly, "it's okay. It's okay. You didn't do anything wrong. She pulled back slightly, looking Lily in the eyes. I know you're scared, but you were so brave, Lily. You handled that situation incredibly well. You stayed calm, you thought on your feet, and you called me. That was the smartest thing you could have done. She hugged Lily again. I'm so proud of you, sweetie. You trusted your instincts and you knew when to ask for help. That's more than a lot of adults would have done. You're amazing, Lily. Truly amazing. She kissed Lily's forehead. It's all over now. You're safe. I'm here. And we're going to figure this out together. After a few minutes of quiet comfort, Lily's mom stood up. Come on, she said, gently pulling Lily to her feet. Let's finish hanging these curtains together. What do you say? Lily nodded, wiping her eyes. The new curtains, a swirl of soft blue, seemed to glow in the afternoon light. They were a symbol of hope, a promise of better days to come. Together, they adjusted the curtains, smoothing out the wrinkles and making sure they hung just right. Lily's mom showed her how to properly tie back the curtains, creating a neat and elegant look. As they worked side by side, a sense of calm settled over Lily. The fear and anxiety began to fade, replaced by a feeling of safety and security. This was how it was supposed to be. Just her and her mom, working together, creating a cozy and comfortable space. The curtains were more than just pretty fabric now. They were a reminder of their bond, a symbol of their love and protection. Later, curled up on the couch with a blanket and a cup of hot chocolate, Lily's mom spoke gently. Honey, she said, I want you to know that it's important to trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. You don't ever have to do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, even if it's someone you know and trust. She explained the importance of boundaries, of knowing what was okay and what wasn't. Your body is yours, Lily, she said. And you get to decide who touches it and how. No one else gets to make that decision for you. And it's okay to say no, even if it feels rude. Your safety and comfort are always more important. She emphasized that Lily was never to blame for what happened. Sometimes, people do things that aren't right, she said. And it's never, ever your fault. You did nothing to deserve that, and you did everything right by telling me. She hugged Lily tightly. You are loved, you are safe, and you are always believed. From that day forward, Lily understood the importance of being assertive and speaking up when something felt wrong. She learned that it was okay to say no, to set boundaries, and to trust her gut instincts. She also learned that seeking help was a sign of strength, not weakness. She and her mom talked about the situation with Mr. Peterson, discussing how to handle similar situations in the future. They decided that Lily would always call her mom if she felt uncomfortable or unsafe, no matter what. They also agreed that Lily would never be alone with Mr. Peterson again. The new curtains, once a symbol of excitement and anticipation, now represented something even more important: Lily's newfound understanding of her own power and the unwavering love and support of her mom. She knew that no matter what challenges life threw her way, she had the strength and the resources to overcome them. And she knew that she was never, ever alone.